What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best WNBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now, if you did watch yesterday's YouTube video, unfortunately, we did only get 1 out of the 3 picks correct. I'm really sorry about that. Now, we are hoping to bounce back because we do have some locks for you today, but I also did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 22 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got 1 pick wrong and got 22 right, which is a 98% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 98% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 98% win rate and get 22 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $2,750 just yesterday. Another member who won $350 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Christian Mutangela who said let's cash, and shouts out to Kendrick Weber 4572 who said love this guy. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick, and when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is Chelsea Gray for 3.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Chelsea Gray, we have actually seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, you see on June 14th, she faced off against Dallas, had 4 rebounds there. Then on June 16th, faced off against Phoenix, had 10 rebounds. After that, actually had a pretty tough matchup as she faced off against Minnesota on June 18th, had 2 rebounds there. Then 4 rebounds against Seattle Storm on June 21st, and then 3 rebounds against Indiana Fever on June 23rd. So we have seen Chelsea Gray go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and her average over the last 5 is also 4.6. So it's definitely been, a bit tough in a sense that we have seen Chelsea Gray, even some of the time she has gone on the over, she's only made it over, just slightly, like not really convincing enough to us. But Chelsea Gray and the Las Vegas Aces do face off against none other than Connecticut Sun. Now, just to, show you where they both rank, we do know that the Aces have had a pretty lackluster type season. They currently rank 9th in the WNBA with 6 wins and 7 losses. So they have a 46.2% win percentage. They currently are 4-3 at home and 2-4 from away, and they currently are on a 1-game win streak. Now, they face off against Connecticut Sun, as we've mentioned, and Connecticut have actually done worse because they actually have a record of 2 wins and 12 losses. So they have a 14.3% win percentage. They have a 1-6 record at home and then 1-6 record away, and they are currently on a 6-game losing streak. Now, when it comes to Connecticut Sun, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup because we do know that they face off, against each other. But looking at Connecticut Sun defensively, we do know Connecticut Sun do rank 13th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So why do we like the under for this situation? Now, a big reason is that when it comes to Connecticut Sun, although they do rank low in general, they actually do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the guard position. So when we look at a per position basis, we do actually see Chelsea Gray more likely to go on the under due to that reason. Now, on top of that, Chelsea Gray also doesn't have the highest usage rate when it comes to the rebounding department. As we've mentioned before, when it comes to Chelsea, even some of the times she has gone on the over, she's only made it over by 0.5. That's not really convincing enough to us that she does have a high usage rate. And on top of that, she did have a big outlier game against Phoenix where she was able to get 10 rebounds. And in that outlier game, it's brought this line a little bit too high that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, looking at someone like Chelsea Gray, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So that works out in our favor there. So with all those things being said, we are definitely liking the under for this one. So Chelsea Gray, 3.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about another great player, and that is none other than Briana Stewart. So, Briana Stewart, great player for New York Liberty, and this one is for 21.5 points. So this one's actually a points line for 21.5, and this one actually is for less. So, looking at Briana Stewart, we have actually seen her go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, you see on June 11th, faced off against Chicago, where she had 18 points there. Then faced off on June 15th against Indiana, where she had 24 points. And had 23 points against Atlanta on June 18th. Then 35 points against Phoenix Mercury on June 20th. And then after that, we also saw her face off against Seattle on June 23rd and had 18 points there. So, we have seen Briana Stewart go on the under 2 out of the last 5, and her average over the last 5 is 23.6, so slightly above this line. Now, looking at New York Liberty, we do know that they face off against the Golden State Valkyries in this next game. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game no matter what. But looking at both of these teams, we do know that New York Liberty have a fantastic record as they actually rank 2nd in the WNBA with 10 wins and 3 losses. Now, they have a 76.9% win percentage. They are 6-1 at home, 4-2 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So, when it comes to Liberty, they are looking to change things around. They definitely have lost the last 2, so they are looking to not make it a 3rd. And they face off against Golden State Valkyries, who do rank 6th in the actual WNBA with a record of 7 wins and 6 losses. So it's definitely been interesting for Valkyries. They've been very mid-tier. They have a 53.8% win percentage. They are 5-2 from home and 2-4 from away games. So it's definitely been interesting there. But looking at this matchup, we do know that Briana Stewart, does face off against Golden State Valkyries defense, and Golden State Valkyries defensively do actually rank 5th when it comes to points allowed. So, Valkyries actually do rank very high when it comes to restricting points, but on top of that, they also do a fantastic job at restricting points to the forward position. And that's where we definitely see someone like Briana Stewart struggling here. Now, when it comes to, Briana, yes, she does have a decent usage rate in this department, but like I always mention, outlier games is definitely ones to look out for, and she definitely had one against Phoenix Mercury. That did bring her line very high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under, and that's the way, we definitely see it when it comes to Briana coming into this matchup. Now, looking at this matchup as well, when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well, so that also works out in our favor there. But I do believe overall we do like to see Golden State Valkyries, although they do rank 6th, the defensive strategies that they do like to run is to try to restrict star players as much as they can. For someone like Briana, she is one of the leaders in this Liberty team, and we are expecting a lot of the defensive pressure to go on her. To get the ball out of her hands, I do believe is Valkyrie's sort of game plan, and that's why we do like the under for this situation here. So for that reason, Briana Stewart, 21.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Natasha Cloud. So, Natasha Cloud, great player, and this one is for 7.5 points, and this one actually is for more. So, looking at Natasha Cloud, we have seen her go on the over in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, we see she faced off against Chicago Sky on June 11th, had 5 points there. Then had 5 points against Indiana on June 15th. Then June 18th, faced off against Atlanta, had 7 points there. Then 8 points against Phoenix on June 20th. Then June 23rd, faced off against Seattle, had 5 points there. So we definitely have seen Natasha Cloud do a pretty decent job. Although she has only gone on the over in 1 out of the last 5, her average over the last 5 is still 6, so pretty close to this line. Now, looking at Natasha Cloud, we do know that she does play for New York Liberty, and they do face off against Golden State Valkyries. Now, just to remind you all real quickly again, New York Liberty do rank 2nd with a 10-3 record. Valkyries on the other side have a record of 7-6, and they currently rank 6. So although, New York Liberty and Golden State Valkyries, this matchup's definitely going to be an intense one, but even though Golden State do rank pretty high when it comes to restricting points allowed, what we also do know is that when we look at points allowed to the guard position, Golden State Valkyries actually do a very, very poor job. So we are definitely expecting coming into this game, we are expecting someone, like actually Natasha Cloud to be able to take advantage of that, since they don't do really well in those categories. So for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation here. And Natasha Cloud not only has been on a little bit of a cold streak, but we definitely still see that changing coming into this next one. Now, she has had a couple of cold games that has brought her line a little bit too low now, that we do believe there is going to be a lot of potential for her to be able to beat this line, especially in a game like this, where, like we mentioned just recently, that Golden State Valkyries do a poor job against guards. So we definitely see someone like, Natasha Cloud being able to take advantage of this. Yes, she has been on a cold streak as of recent, but we are expecting her to bounce back into this next one. So Natasha Cloud, 7.5 points. 4 more, I think, is an absolute fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but PrizePicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player going to be talking about is none other than Jewell Loyd. So as you all know, Jewell Loyd is a fantastic player for the Las Vegas Aces, and she has done a fantastic job so far this season, because we've actually seen her average 11.4 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, while also getting 1.1 steals. So she definitely has done a great job there. We definitely have seen Jewell Loyd not only do a fantastic job, but we also have seen her play a big role for this Aces team. Now, looking at the Aces, they do have themselves a very, very interesting matchup, because the Aces do face off against none other than Connecticut Sun. So it's definitely going to be an exciting game there. But looking at Connecticut Sun and also Las Vegas Aces, starting off with the Aces and where they do rank, we do know that the Aces ranked 9th in the WNBA. It hasn't really been too well for them. Now, they do have a record of 6 wins and 7 losses. So they have 46.2% win percentage. So definitely has been pretty average there. Now, they do actually have a record of 4-3 at home, 2-4 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So they are hoping to keep that streak alive and continue on into this next game. But looking at this, matchup, the Connecticut Sun is who they face off against. Now, Connecticut haven't really been doing any better. Connecticut do rank 13th in the WNBA and actually have the worst record in the league. They have 2 wins, 12 losses, and they have a 14.3% win percentage. So it's definitely been tough for them. Now, they do have a record of 1-6 at home and 1-6 at away, and they are currently on a 6-game losing streak. So it definitely has been tough for Connecticut Sun so far this season. But we are talking about Aces Jewell Loyd in this matchup, and looking at Connecticut Sun defensively, we do know that they rank 12th in points allowed. They also rank, when it actually comes to assists allowed, they rank 9th, and then they also rank 13th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So we actually have seen Jewell Loyd go well in certain games, and in this next one, we do like the over for this situation here. Now, a big reason being is that when it comes to Jewell Loyd, although she is a great player, she also does face off against a very poor defensive team. Connecticut Sun are poor defensively, and that's one of the reasons why they do have a record of 2-12. And coming into this next one, we do very much like the over for someone like Jewell. Now, there really isn't any sort of category to focus on. Jewell Loyd has a great usage rate in all 3 departments: points, rebounds, and assists. So we definitely see someone like Loyd being able to do a fantastic job and going on the over here. Now, looking at this matchup even further, we do know that looking at her last 5 games, she's faced off against Dallas, had an 88-84 victory, and she had 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in that matchup. Then faced off against Phoenix, had a 76-70 loss. She had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. After that, faced off against Minnesota, had a 76-62 loss, had 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists there. After that, faced off against Seattle Storm, where they lost 90-83, had 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists there, and 1 steal. Then after that, faced off against Indiana Fever recently, had an 89-81 victory, where she actually had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. So we definitely have seen Loyd play some really good games at certain times. Other games hasn't done so well, but coming into this next one, and as we always like to say, we have seen Jewell Loyd perform very, very well against poorly defensive teams. And for that reason, coming into this next matchup, we do think someone like Jewell Loyd will be going, on the over, as she should be able to take advantage of the poor defensive Connecticut Sun. So for that reason, keep an eye out for a line. If the line is under averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Veronica Burton. So, if you haven't heard of Veronica Burton already, she is a fantastic player from Golden State Valkyries. Now, she's actually averaged 11.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.5 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at this matchup, we do also know that Veronica has not only done, a great job during the regular season, but Golden State Valkyries do face off against New York Liberty. Now, this is definitely going to be an exciting game, but looking at both of these teams, I do want to start off with Golden State Valkyries. They have had a pretty decent season. They currently rank 6th in the WNBA, so they aren't doing too bad. They have a record of 7 wins and 6 losses and have a 53.8% win percentage. Now, they have a 5-2 record at home, 2-4 record from away games, and also are currently on a 2-game win streak as well. Now, looking at this matchup, obviously we do know that the Valkyries face off against Liberty, and looking at New York Liberty, New York do actually have the second best record in the WNBA, have 10 wins and 3 losses. So they have a 76.9% win percentage. They are 6-1 at home, 4-2 for away games. They currently are on a 2-game losing streak, so it's definitely been tough for them lately. Now, coming into this game, obviously we are expecting Golden State Valkyries to come out swinging and try to get this win, but looking at New York Liberty defensively, we do know that they rank 3rd in points allowed. They also rank, when it comes to assists allowed, they rank 7th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do know that Liberty rank 11th. So they don't really rank too well in those categories. But looking at someone like Veronica Burton, we do actually like the over for this situation here, but we do actually, are sticking to just assists. Now, a big reason being is that when it actually comes to Veronica Burton and the matchup against Liberty, Liberty do a better job at points, so that's why we are staying a little bit away from that. When it comes to rebounds, although Veronica does have a decent usage rate in the rebounding department, what we have seen is that her consistency in rebounds hasn't really been there. But when it comes to assists, we definitely have seen her, consistency, her usage rate out there, dishing the ball out, and really playmaking for this team has been very, very high. Now, she hasn't gone on the over in every single game, but we still remain her to do a very good job in that department. And the fact that New York Liberty also do rank, pretty low in those categories, as, like we mentioned, they do rank 7th. We definitely are expecting someone like Veronica Burton to take advantage of that and go on the over here. Now, looking at this, matchup even a little bit further, I also do want to mention the last 5 games, because we did see Veronica Burton and Golden State Valkyries face off against the LA Sparks. Had an 89-81 OT victory with 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 6 assists. Then faced off against Seattle, had a 76-70 win with 8 points, 2 rebounds, and 9 assists there. After that, faced off against Dallas, had an 80-71 loss with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists there. After that, faced off against Indiana, had an 88-77 win with 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Then against Connecticut, had an 87-63 victory with 10 points, 0 rebounds, and 2 assists. So we definitely have seen Veronica at times do a pretty decent job. At other times, hasn't really depended on the team. But coming into this next one, we still do like the over for this situation for someone like Veronica. But like I mentioned, strictly just for assists. So keep an eye out for her assist line. I see a lot of value there to go on the over, especially, if the line is under her averages. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Jaelyn Brown. So you may have heard of Jaelyn Brown before, great player from Connecticut Sun. Now, obviously, guys and girls, there is only 2 WNBA games, so a lot of the picks will be from, the same games. But looking at Jaelyn Brown, we have seen her average 4.3 points, 1.1 rebound, 0 assists, and 0.4 steals. Now, we definitely have seen Jaelyn Brown, although she is a role player, play some pretty big minutes at times. Now, she obviously does play for Connecticut Sun, and Connecticut do face off against the Aces, as we've mentioned before. Now, just to remind you all again real quickly, Connecticut Sun do rank 13th with a record of 2-12, while the Aces do have a record of 6-7 and currently rank 9th. Now, looking at Jaelyn Brown, we do very much like this, sort of a scenario, because we do actually see that the Las Vegas Aces do rank, when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 9th. Moving on into assists allowed, We also see the aces ranked 13th, and then rebounds allowed, we've also see the aces ranked 12th. Now, coming into this game, for someone like Jaelyn Brown, we do still actually very much like the under for this situation here. Now, a big reason being for this is that when it actually comes to Jaelyn Brown, we have definitely seen her, get very unpredictable type minutes and unpredictable type of usage rate, and we definitely see that affecting her line there. Now, obviously, she does have a pretty low average, and we have seen her at times only get very few minutes. So coming into this next game, although aces don't really rank, surprisingly too well in the points department, they still do rank pretty decent. They still rank 9, so a little bit mid-tier. We also do know that the aces do a fantastic job at restricting points to the guard position in the second unit. So that's a big reason why we still do like the under for this situation here. Now, looking at someone like Jaelyn Brown, we all do know that she does play a lot more of a secondary type role. I would say, borderline bench warmer type role, in the sense that she does only get, I would say, plus 10 minutes per game. She does a great job out there, but we definitely still see her playing more of a role-playing type role coming into this game. Now, looking at her last 5 games, you see she faced off against Chicago, had a 78-66 loss. She actually had 0 points, 1 rebound, and 0 assists. Then faced off against Indiana Fever with an 88-71 loss, had 13 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists. Then faced off against Phoenix with an 83-75 loss, had 6 points, 0 rebound, 0 assists. Then also next game after that against Dallas Wings, had an 86-83 loss with 0 points, 2 rebounds, and 0 assists. And Golden State Valkyries had an 87-63 loss, had 3 points, 1 rebound, and 0 assists there. So we definitely have seen Jaelyn Brown, go on the under at times and go on the over in some. But coming into this next one, we still do very much like the under for this one. Now, looking at, Connecticut Sun and Aces, we also are expecting in this game to be a little bit more, I would say slower pace, in a sense that Aces actually do a fantastic job at slowing down faster paced teams. Connecticut Sun are probably used to, pretty fast paced somewhat games, and we are expecting Aces to bring them back down to their speed. And because of that, it could definitely affect Connecticut Sun, volume, and also Jaelyn Brown's volume at that, because less pace means less volume, and less volume means less opportunity for anything, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists. So for that reason, we are definitely sticking to the under for this one. So Jaelyn Brown from Connecticut Sun, keep an eye out for her actual line, and we definitely see a lot of value there to go on the under. Coming into the next pick, we're going to be talking about Nyara Sabally. Now, as you all know, Nyara, great player from none other than New York Liberty. Now, she's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 7.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, 0.7 assists, and 1.3 steals. So we definitely have seen her do a great job. Now, obviously, we have seen Nyara play, a very interesting role for this Liberty team. But New York Liberty do face off against Golden State Valkyries. Now, looking at, New York Liberty and also Golden State Valkyries, starting off with New York, we do know that New York Liberty do have a record of 10 wins and 3 losses. That's a 76.9% win percentage. So they definitely have done, pretty decent there. Now, going into the next, side of the bracket, we do know Golden State Valkyries do rank 6 with a record of 7 wins and 6 losses. So, Valkyries have definitely done pretty decent, definitely not compared to Liberty standard, but still somewhat decent. Now, looking at Golden State Valkyries defensively as well, we do know that Valkyries do rank 5th when it comes to points allowed. They rank 6th when it comes to assists allowed, and 6th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So, actually ranked pretty mid-tier in all 3 categories. Now, for someone like Nyara, we actually do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, a big reason being is that when we look at Nyara Sabally, she is a fantastic player, but what we have seen time and time again is that we are expecting her to go on the under due to the fact that not only do Golden State Valkyries rank pretty well in points, rebounds, and assists, but they also do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the center position. So, for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting game, but we are expecting Nyara Sabally to actually, get a little bit less usage rate than she usually is used to, as we are expecting Golden State Valkyries defense to pretty much reduce her usage rate out there on the floor. Now, looking at the last 5 games, she's definitely played some pretty big games. You see against Chicago on the 11th, had an 85-66 victory, had actually 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. After that, faced off against Indiana with a 102-88 loss, had 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist there. After that, faced off against Atlanta, had an 86-81 victory with 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist there. Then faced off against Phoenix on the 20th, had an 89-81 loss, had 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 0 assists. Then faced off against Seattle Storm, had an 89-79 loss with 8 points, 9 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So we definitely have seen, Nyara Sabally do pretty well in some games and not really do too well in others. Now, coming into this next one, we are expecting Liberty to really hone in and focus on their star players to do a lot more of the heavy lifting. Now, no disrespect to Sabally, although she is a great player, she isn't the star player for this New York Liberty team, and we are expecting the other players to do a lot more of the heavy lifting coming into this matchup. So, for that reason, we do very much like the under for this one. So, Nyara Sabally, keep an eye out for her line. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, whether it's points, rebounds, and assists.